Hello and welcome to Historical Fiction with Picturesque, coming to you today from a nice empty train compartment there. So I thought I might take advantage of this opportunity to make a video about kind of in response to my friend Derek Green, who recently made a nice video there, and also he discussed trains there, which is a big part of my life. I spend a lot of time traveling on trains, in this case through central Bohemia here. So I just thought it might be a good time to address his topic, which I found a really interesting topic there. Take a bit of a breather from reading for a moment there. And the topic of his video was basically to specialize or not. And I think that was with regards to reading materials, but also in regards to his YouTube channel and whether or not he should specialize in a particular topic or address a broader range of topics there. And I thought I would just kind of give my personal answer on the subject, because it is something that I've considered quite often, particularly with my reading habits there. In general, I found that my reading habits have obviously evolved over the years there. In the past, I was quite a bit less selective in what I read, particularly when I was traveling to other countries, and particularly when I arrived in Bohemia. I was quite a lot less selective, just because the amount of materials available in English were not always of I couldn't always pick and choose. Like these days I've got a much wider variety of choices than I had back then. Back in those days it was a bit wild, because the Czech Republic is a very much a reading country there, but they generally tend to read translated books that have been either Czech books that are originally in Czech or translated materials there, whereas I prefer to read in English whenever I've got the opportunity there. So in those days, the kind of English-speaking community, we would trade books and recommend books, and in a lot of ways books were a bit like cigarettes in prison, in that they were very valuable and you could trade them for other valuables and so on there. So I tended then to read whichever books, books that I could check out from the library, books that would that I was lent, and many books that I bought and I never got back over the years, which generally I don't mind. Occasionally, sorry, tunnel here. Occasionally, there are a few books that I wish I hadn't lent out because I never got them back. But that's I think just part of the process of sharing books with others there. So for myself now, I'm much more specialized in that I will tend to just read the books that I am interested in, because I don't know, I just find I don't have to read whatever's put in front of me, and I can be a bit more selective. And also I'm much more likely these days to not finish a book if I don't find it enjoyable. In the old days I felt compelled to kind of power through a book even if I didn't actually enjoy it and reach the end of it, whereas now I don't know, maybe it's just a consequence of getting older. I'm a bit I feel that I have less time to read and less time to be available. In the old days, before the internet, it was either read a book or go out to the pub with my friends or do something more active there. So reading was the only kind of downtime activity that I had, whereas now there are in some ways, unfortunately, other options there. But overall, I would say I'm much more selective there, so I tend to read books, and that's one of the reasons I like the YouTube channel, because I can get recommendations from people that I respect and find out about books that I never would have found out about otherwise. In the old days I used to frequent message boards, but those have kind of fallen out of fashion there for book recommendations. So now I decided to go into YouTube and hopefully in some ways recommend some books that some people might enjoy that they might not have heard of, in the same way that I enjoy watching recommendations of books that I haven't seen. In a lot of ways it's similar for myself watching films. I don't really watch TV series, but I do watch films. But I rarely take a risk on any new films these days, because there's a good chance it'll just be a waste of time and a disappointment. Whereas if I watch a film that I've already seen and I enjoyed, then I know that I'm actually going to enjoy that. But for example, on my own YouTube channel, I will talk about books, and I'll talk about kind of figurines. Those were the main things that I started off with. But I've also got another, not just historical fiction books. I enjoy old gangster fiction. I enjoy old science fiction there. I enjoy comic books, other things like that. And YouTube, if nothing else, is a chance to try to share those interests with others. In a lot of ways, my YouTube channel was kind of, in a way, a response to something unfortunate that happened to me. In a way, it's kind of therapy, because I had a friend many years ago, my main friend with whom I often spoke with. He didn't live in Prague, but he would visit often. He was from Austria, and he was one of my best friends, and he was he was a professor, so he was very much a historian, even though we were about the same age. And we would always have nice rousing conversations usually about non-fiction, but about books and topics like that. And I just found that very enjoyable there. That was kind of my intellectual stimulation outside of my profession there. But unfortunately, a few years ago, he died of a brain tumor there, which was really, really unfortunate. So, as I said, in some ways, this is kind of my therapy, where I like to just kind of talk into the void and see if anyone else would like to listen. This is obviously a much more one-sided conversation than I used to be able to have there, but overall I found the experience so far enjoyable, and I've enjoyed my interactions, meeting friends like Derek Green and Patrick Reed's books and other people like that. I feel that I've made some nice connections there, and feel that I would like to continue. And it's one of those things where I'll continue to make videos and engage in my interest there, and if people are interested in watching and corresponding with me, then I'll be very happy for that. If not, in a lot of ways it was just helpful for me to talk about it there. So thanks for listening, and I hope to continue to interact with other like-minded individuals on YouTube. So thanks for listening. Goodbye.